These are all for Hatzlacha?
No, Neshama, all of them.
All of them, okay. Okay, so, Chaver, we're going to begin the following session on the Alshech HaKadosh with the following dedications. Hi, just so you know, we're on camera, that's all. Okay, these are the learning session we're going to dedicate it Li'ilui Nishmat, Anna Julia bat Jetel, Eliza bat Slava, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, Malka bat Shlomo, Aaron ben Shlomo, Dalia bat Marcel, Mordechai Yisrael Tzvi ben Moshe Aharon, Shlomo Zalman ben Mordechai Yisrael Tzvi, and of course we're hoping that in the schut of our learning, it should give schut and be mechazek Am Yisrael, that we should have bracha and hatzlacha and nechamot and geulot and yeshuot.
Amen. Anybody who wants pizzas, they've arrived and they're on the warmer, so please help yourself. Pizzas, help yourself.
Okay, so we were in the middle of a piece that was discussing a strange, we were struggling to understand two statements, two psukim, one after the other. One is where Adam Arishon says, Achapam, specifically on the heels of HaKadosh Baruch Hu presenting Chava to the fully formed Chava back to Adam after he had sort of done surgery on Adam. So Adam makes a statement, Achapam, this time. One second, I'm going to find it inside. Vayomer ha'adam zot hapam. Vayomer ha'adam. And now the man of Adam Arishon said, Zos hapam, this time, etzem mi'atzamai, bone from my bone, or essence from my essence, of basar mi-bsari, and flesh of my flesh. And then, lizot yikare isha, the pasuk says, lizot, for this reason she will be called isha, ki me'ish lukacha zot, because from a man this was taken. And then the pasuk says, it's the narrator looks at the camera and addresses us and says, Al kain, therefore, because of this, ya'azav ish, es aviv es imo, a man will leave his father and mother, v'davak bi'ishto, and cleave to his wife, v'hayu levasar echad, and there will be one flesh. Okay, so we asked several questions, and basically the chidush that where we left off, we noted that there were actually three stages or three phases that went into the creation of Adam that resulted finally in a separate discrete male and a separate discrete female. So we said that there was their creation on the level of machshava, and then there was the element that HaKadosh Baruch Hu inserted the chidush on the level of dibur, and then there was this whole surgery that took place in the level of maaseh. So we said that originally, right, according to Rabbi Abau in the Medrash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu conceived of male and female humans discretely, separately. That on the level of machshava, they were independent and there was no unity. There was just the cosmic, right? You had the olam de duchra, the cosmic masculine that became manifest as a human in the male side, and separately, right, from the alma de nukva, you had woman, or rather femininity, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Dibur, right, we learned how HaKadosh Baruch Hu called them both Adam, so whereas on the level of Machshava, there's no unity. They're two separate, distinct entities. And then on the level of Dibur, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is ma'achid them, by being kolel them, he includes them in the name Adam, and that's kind of like an external kind of binding together, right? And then finally, on the level of Maaseh, when it came to the actual deed of fashioning them, so to speak, with their full physical, material presence and existence, with a physical body, they actually came from one being. So the idea there is that they both existed at a time where they shared one being, even though it was the last stage. So when Adam Rishon says Zos Hapam, he's saying not just this time, meaning the first time historically that there ever was a shidduch, that the first woman came out of the man himself, but the following won't be, but rather this time, meaning this phase in the creation, meaning in the Olam HaMaaseh, this I will call on shame on the unity that was possible because of this last stage. I'm going to call her Isha. We're going to identify her specifically from the point of that she was kilukacha zot, right from the ish. Okay, that's what we're saying until now. And then we still had the question, that we want to address now. How does it follow if you say that Zot HaPam this time, because there's a special connection, there's a special unity that's going on historically at this time, but all subsequent generations, it's not like our mate is removed from us in the surgery room, right? So to say Al Kain Ya'azov et Aviv et Ima v'davak b'ishto, that a person would have to leave his family and cleave to his wife, right? That seems counterintuitive to the setup of Zos HaPam. So that's what we want to address now. Okay. There's a short review. All right, so we're going to pick up on page 40, Mem, in my edition, the last paragraph. Here we go. V'hine, ממוצא דבר, באמרו לזאת יקרא אישה, היה נראה שלא יהיה דבקות זה רק לו עם חווה שלוקחה ממנו, אך לא כן לכל איש ואישה אשר יוולדו אחר כך. So you would write, when in the statement, לזוס יקרא אישה, so היה נראה, it would appear, שלא יהיה דבקות זה רק לו עם חווה שלוקחה ממנו, meaning this unity would only be available specifically in the instance of Adam and Chava, where she was removed from him.
Why did you create them separately?
Sorry?
Why did you create them separately in the first place?
You always ask those questions when they were already addressed in the previous lesson. So I would refer you to watch the video. Indeed. Right. That's why you got to show up consistently. Okay. You have
Watch
to,
the video. You went through at the last.
You went to them already?
The Alshech did. I tried to follow along. Okay.
What did he say?
I'll tell you later.
היה נראה שלא יהיה דבקות זה,
Do you mean suspense? Yes. That's what I do. No.
רק לא עם חווה שלוקחה ממנו. This unity would only be available in the instance where Adam HaRishon experienced Chava being removed from him. However, לא כן לכל איש ואישה. Not so for every subsequent man and woman asher yivaldu achar kach, that would be born afterwards. Al kain, therefore, ba'a Toratenu v'amra. Our Torah came and stated, Al kain ya'azav ish, etc., etc., v'davak b'ishto. Therefore, a man must leave his father and mother to cleave to his wife. Kilomar, that is to say, ki yiches ze lechol stam ish v'isha sheba'olam, v'zehu ya'azav. It is relating to the average, the regular man and woman in the world, and it is saying that they must leave. Vehu, that means, kihine Adam, okay, this is very cool. Okay, Adam, kol nishamot habaot la'olam nichlalu bo, v'hayu bo bekoch. See, meaning what we're going to do here is, on the face of it, the contrast seems strange, right? Meaning, in this instance, there's a unity because Chava was removed. But in subsequent generations, you're not going to have that, right? So what's the Al Kain? The Al Kain is strange, but it's going to be specifically because Adam and Chava went through it. You don't have to. Check this out, okay? V'hu kihine Adam kol neshamot habot la'olam nichlalu bo. Right? We know that Adam was the super soul, right? All our souls were included in Adam HaRishon. V'hayu bo bekoch. They were in potential. Amram Zal, like the statement of our sages, B'Shemos Rabbah, al pasuk, Efo hayita biyaste aretz. God addresses Eov and he says, where were you when I settled the foundations of the earth? V'al derech zeh b'chava bat zugo nishmat anashim. So Chava, the prototype, right, the paradigmatic female, the ultimate Em Kol Chai, she had in her all subsequent souls, right? They were all included within her, the souls of, that are mitzad, the nashim, the women. Ve'al yedei chen bihikalel Chava be'adam. At the instance when Adam incorporated Chava in his being, before the surgery, nichalu kol nefesh ish bevat zugo. Every single soul of every woman was in their male counterpart, as Chava's was in Adam. So you and I, right, Al Ken Yazov, well, we'll see, okay? You see where this is going, right? Yeah. Okay? V'zeo Amro, that's the meaning, that's why the verse says, Al Ken, therefore, Shesamti Chava be'Adam, because I placed Chava within Adam, Lo belvad yimashech achdut lecha levadcha. There will not just, in your instance, there won't just be a unity in your case. Ki im gam lechol ish im ishto. Every other shidduch between, right, the masculine, the human male and the human female will have this dynamic. Ki yesh lahem kesher b'nafshotam gam me'as, because they have that bond in their nefesh from then. ואינו חסר להם, כי אם מה שגם כן, והיו לבשר אחד. And you'll see that the fact that in a subsequent generation that you have Yilud Isha, those born of parents, that will have to leave their homes in order to find their wives, the fact that that's their particular situation does not preclude them from being able to have true unity, and they can still be basar echad because of zot hapam, what happened, what Adam declared in his case with Chava. Okay? So, can
I
Yes,
just say, okay,
sure.
so we understood that, but why, as a result of that, does it say, because of this, the man has to leave?
Oh, it doesn't say he has to. It means he will. Al kain, because zotapam, right, where the Chava was nichlal in Adam. So now al kain, therefore, yazav ishat, meaning in subsequent generations when that's not the arrangement, they have to leave their homes to find their mate. It's not that their mate is removed from them and given back to them. Still, that's not a problem because of what happened. Meaning they could still be vahilu basar echad because of what happened by Adam. It's not saying that they must. It's saying even though they do, that is not, don't think that they have any less of a bond than Adam had with Chava because they were also nichlal, etc.
But we asked at the time
Yes.
that we had straight after this, the klal saying that, and that's why a man leaves his
Al-Kain,
parents.
right, Al-Kain, right.
So we.
So we're not, we're reading, okay, I'll tell you in the words. Al-Kain, therefore, right, even though, in parentheses, right, Ya'azov, ish et aviv et imo, still, v'davak v'ishto v'ahil basarcha. That's how I would suggest reading it now, according to the Pshat. Meaning, it's not an imperative because of what happened by Adam and Chava. Therefore, every man has to go and leave their parents. That's not what we're saying on this level of the reading. We're saying al-kain because it was taken care of over here. Ya'azov, meaning every subsequent generation doesn't have to go through this. Every shidduch doesn't have to go through this on a personal level in order to have that same bond because it happened by zotapa. That's all we're saying.
I'm just trying to get the connection between Zotapam and the fact that man has to leave his parents.
No, we're not saying over here that he has to leave his parents. We're saying that that's what happens, and it's okay.
Why is that what happens is what I'm asking.
Because did you expect that God at some point, maybe when you were 18, your parents would drop you off overnight at the hospital, and then the surgeon would cut something from you and put it in an incubator and then present it to you with a bow and a wedding dress? Because it just doesn't work that way. That's why you have to leave home because your wife is not at home. That's the whole point.
You have to leave home because you have
your
to
wife's
reconnect
not at home.
with her.
Right.
You have to reconnect with her.
He's going to say later on, he's going to bring it all the way back to the Gemara in Sota about Arba'im Yom Kodem Yitziat Avlad, Bat Kol Yotzet V'Omeret, Bat Plani L'Plani. Yeah. Okay. But right now, all we're saying is he's suggesting read the Gemara with read the pasuk with another inflection. Meaning he's saying al-kain because of what happened in the instance of man and woman primary. So now, even though I'm in a situation of azav et aviv et imo v'davak b'ishto, meaning it's not that she's extracted from me and presented to me, but I actually have to leave home and hunt her down. In my particular case, still, v'davak b'ishto v'hayu basar echad. We have the same level of connection that Adam and Chava had, because that stage was taken for on behalf of all generations, and we all experienced that on the micro. Okay? Very nice. So now, he's going to, the rest of the piece, more or less, I mean, he has a couple of chidushim here, but then he's going to be restating all these things over and over and over again in different permutations to read the pasuk. So by the time we're done, we should have this down really well. Okay, so let's bear with it for a little bit. Okay, so vizehu amro al kain, right? That's the meaning of when the verse says therefore. Right, meaning upon this, it is so that shesamti chava ba'adam, I had placed chava in Adam. Lo belvad yimashech achdut lecha levadcha. That's not it. This event is not what just caused a drawing forth of unity between you and her in this instance, just alone, ki'im, but rather also gam l'chol ish im ishto, every man with his wife, ki yesh lahem kesher b'nafshotam, because they have a bond, a soul bond connection, gam me'az, even from them, ve'enu chaser lahem, and nothing is lacking to them in this department, ki imma shegam kein vayu lebasar echad, they will even achieve basar echad, unity of the flesh, v'zeo v'hayu, etc. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, shiur ha'inyan, teda, ma asa yitbarach chava me'adam v'lo me'afro. So he's going to add, he wants to bring out another point to even appreciate this further, that you could say that okay, they had to come on some level of unity on the practical level. On the Olam HaMaaseh, they had to experience being hewn from the same lump of matter. But who said that Adam had to be fully formed and completely masculine and have her in him before she becomes herself? Why couldn't they why couldn't Hashem go to take a lump of earth and take part of it and make it Adam, a male, and take part of it and make it Chava, female? Would that have the same unity? Why did she have to be in latent potential, located in a tzela, in a fully formed masculine Adam? That seems kind of like why, like maybe Hashem should just take them both independently from one gush. Okay? So, Teda, you should know. Lama asa yitbarach Chava me'adam v'lo me'afro. Why was Chava fashioned specifically from fully formed Adam as opposed to from the same dirt, the earth that was used to make him? Mipnei she'al ken ya'azav ish, etc. v'davak b'ishto. So he wants to say now that perhaps this following, that remark is specifically addressing this idea. Why? Meaning it wouldn't be enough. Just because they came from the same source does not mean that they share a bond. I mean, brothers and sisters come from the same source, right? It's that she came from him. That means that at some point they both experienced oneness. If he was not fully formed, then they wouldn't have experienced oneness. Oh Yomar, b'shtei hanachot. And now he's going to just repeat them both together. Okay? He's going to put the whole package together. Achat ha'amura, one that we had already said, ki ba'adam terem halika chavim memeno hayubo bekoach nefashot kol azcharim atidim. That within Adam, before Chala was removed from him, there was in potential all the souls of all the future males. V'chol nefashot hanashim litzad hatzela. And all the nefashot of the women, of females, to the side of the, meaning regarding the piece, the tzela, the side of Adam. Oh, leman da'amar du partzufim, and even according to the opinion that held that it was the two-headed wonder, right? Bitzad partzuf hanekeva, the side, right? Meaning, however you learn the extraction, this particular story here, whether it was du partzufim, like Chazal say in Sanhedrin and Brachot, or you're saying that here it was specifically the latent nefesh of the Isha, which was in the tzela, right? Oh, leman da'amar du partzufim, bitzad partzuf hanekeva, shelo yibatzer miyot bechinat hashnei zugim, shel kol habayim beguf echad. That it should not, however you understand that it should not, shelo yibatzer, it should not stop mihiyot bechinot hashnei zugim, that from the aspect of these two pairs, shakol habayim beguf echad, for everybody that comes in one body.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. Give me a second here. That was a lot of words. Okay. One more time. Sorry. So first of all, he's saying this idea that we said before, that you have all the souls that were invested in here, so what happens is shelo yibatzer mehiyot bechinot hashnei zugim shekol habayim beguf echad, meaning everybody that will come in one, meaning that all the future all the following zugim should not be bereft, shelo yibatzer, they should not be withheld, right, from having this unity of the people that come beguf echad, meaning Adam and Chava. Meaning, first, all what he's doing here is just referencing that idea that everybody, subsequent generations, they gain from this. And shenit, and the second aspect, ki nishmat hascharim mityachasot el hayut. Okay, so remember it says she shall be called Isha, ki mi-ish lukachazot, because she comes from Ish. And we noted that Ish and Isha are not really the same word, because Ish has a yud in there, and Isha has a hey at the end. And it's true that hey always means, right, it is a suffix that says nekeva, but the fact that there's a yud in between by the ish, it's something totally different. Okay? So here we're explaining that the neshamot of Zecharim relate to the yud specifically. And that the yud is, the yud which is potential, that's the nekudah, that's always the chora, that's male. Okay? Sha'al ken yesh yud ba'ish. V'shel hanashim me'al ben nukva, regarding women from the world of the feminine, shehu hey, that's the hey. Sha'al ken yesh hey ba'isha. Okay? There are deep ramazim there, but, okay, and v'navo halenya, where do we want to take this, okay? Amar, hine efshar lekro la shem al yachas haguf shelukach mimena, o mitzad hanefesh. Meaning, Chava, we had a choice. Do we name her in terms of who she is, mitzad her nefesh, that she's a female, or do we name her from that which she was removed from, which is the ish, right? How do you relate to her? Why do we say that we're going to identify her specifically from the one phase where she was actually nichlal in something that she's not, right?
How would you call her from the side of the nefesh, if you were saying?
The reason why we, presumably, according to the Pasuk, the reason why I call her Isha is because she comes from Ish.
Yeah.
Isha is not, meaning we take for granted Isha is a feminine version of Ish, but that's not in the shot of the Pasuk. Sometimes the word Ish means a half. If you look in the Brit Ben Abtarim, so it says it refers to each half of the animal as an Ish. So anyway, so he's saying, listen, the Yud refers to Alma de Duchra, and the He refers to Alma de Nukva, and let's see what he... Okay, so Hine, behold, Efshar lekrola, you could have, right, called her, it's possible to refer to her, Shem, a name, Al Yachas Haguf Shelukach Mimena, relating to the body that she was removed from, Mitzad HaNefesh. Amar, Hine Mitzad HaGuf, from the side of the Guf, Haya Efshar Tikare Adama. Her body was made from Adama, right? Adam, she's made from Adam. Call her Adama, right? Al Shulukha Mi Adam. I don't know if you ever meet a woman named Adama? Adam, I don't know if there's such a thing, but like female version, she was taken from Adam. Ach I Efsha, that would be totally impossible. Ki hine zot hapam, this time, kvar eni afar. Adam says, I was already a person. I wasn't afar when she was taken from me. Eni afar, I'm not dirt. Shetikarehi adama al shelukha mimeni, that I should call her adama that she was taken from me. Ki halo etzemi atzamai basarmi psari, I wasn't dirt anymore. I was already bone and flesh. Alkein, therefore, lo tikare rak al bichanat hanefesh. Ki bi hayu nefashot hayud vehahe. Right? I'm not just going to call her on her nefesh because that precludes what she really is. She's not just an independent female. She's a female that was nichlal in me. Because
now I'm confused because you said if you're talking, you can either call it from the body side or the nefesh.
Right.
The body side would be adama.
Right.
But the nefesh side would be.
We didn't finish the thought yet.
Oh.
Al ken lo tikra rak al bichanat hanefesh ki vi hayu nefashot hayud v'hahei v'lukcha hi mimeni lechen lezot tikra isha. So he's saying, you know what? Ish means both.
Ish means both.
Ish is something that was nichlal. Shahayu bi shtei habchinot.
I see.
Okay, shehein nefashot hascharim uvanot zugan. Umebchina zo naase ikar. This is the main. This is the primary. Al ki al kein yimashech yazov ish. Because every soul of every man cleaved or became unified with the soul in Adam, umitzida, and from its side, Yachashokba will desire. He says beautifully, he says like this. Where does the desire to cleave come from?
Because she was part of him before.
Not from the guf, from the nefesh. Since her nefesh was united with his nefesh internally, right? Meaning if they would have both been hewn from afar, that's not what makes the unity here. What makes the unity is that their nefashot were bound together in a fully formed human body.
I thought we said the opposite. I thought we said that the nefashot was separate and they were bound together physically in the name and then the body.
we're saying, what did I just say that contradicted that?
You
The unity comes from that both nefashot shared a body, right?
Yeah.
At the last instant. It's because they went through that allows, meaning it's that ultimately allows them to be unified. It's that their nefashot were bound by one body. And,
bound by one body.
Right, and if it wasn't like that, then, right, he's saying that the cheshek is for the desire for that nefesh to go back. The nefesh to go back and cleave to the nefesh that it shared with in one body. Okay? Here, I just want to read those words again. I'm sorry, I feel a little bit scrambled tonight. And from this aspect, that became the primary issue. Al-ki. Al-kain yimashech ya'azov ish. And that's why the pasuk continues. Al-kain, therefore, it's because of that what they experienced together, unified in one body before she was removed from Adam, that forever in subsequent generations, ya'azov ish, a man will leave his parents, etc. Ki nefesh kol ish, the soul of every man, nisachta im nafsha be'adam, it had already cleaved to the soul that it needs to meet in Adam Rishon, umitzida, and from that aspect, yachashot ba, he desires her. Ki me'al nefesh yimashech cheshek v'lo mekov. So he's saying, and even another subtle aspect, he's bringing out beautifully. He's saying, you know why you leave home? Why you're willing even to hunt down a wife? Is because you're desperately looking to find that which you had lost, which you once shared an apartment together in Adam Rishon. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along. O Yomar al derech zeh. Alternatively, Zot hapam. This time, what is Adam Rishon saying? Lomar. He's saying, Ein litmoa. Do not wonder. Ich mizachar tavo bechinat nekeva. How did feminine come out of masculine? Ki halo mashe zot hapam. Right? When we said before, when he says Zot Apam this time, he's saying Alpam HaMachshava. Right? At the phase of creation of the Machshava, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created them separately. Right? Ki halo mashe Zot Apam Alpam HaMachshava. I'm sorry. Alpam HaMachshava yesh achdut. That this time, as opposed to the phase 1 of the Pam HaMachshava, there is achdut. Right? Don't, basically like this. How can you wonder? Meaning, don't wonder. How can she be removed from me? Ki halo, that the fact that this time, meaning phase 3, in Olam HaMaaseh, it has achdut over the phase of the machshava. Hu b'mashihi etzem yatzamai. That's because she is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. But the fact that she's a female, it's not that a female came from a male. Right? It's not that she was fashioned out of male, but rather she was extracted. She was there herself. Right? Right? Like we said, that she existed in potential within him. She was removed from him. Nimtza, turns out, she's not made or fashioned out of masculinity, but rather from the quality of nekeva that resided within him. Not from the masculine, just the material of his body she was made out of. But regarding male, she was only extracted. Her aspect, which was unique to her, so he's basically, he presented to us a model of what's happening, and he's using all the different permutations or ways that you could slightly different readings of the pasuk to elaborate and drive this point home. But it's all the same idea. Okay? O Yomar, it's okay, we only have 3 more. Zotapam, this time, bilvad, alone. Only this time, hutzrach, it was necessary. It was only this first historic occasion when Adam and Chava first came on the scene. They were the first ones that they had to go through this in order to unify. And she was not made from dirt, ach mimeni, but actually from me, a fully formed male. And there is no need now in order to unify, to be, meaning in subsequent shidduchim, there's no need for this anymore. That every wife has to be etzem from your etzem. Because now from the fact that I've called her, because of this, I've called her an isha, Because she was taken from an ish. Since all future shidduchim were inside me. And every nefesh of every male has already unified with the nefesh of their mate within me. Therefore, my kesher will be enough. That kesher will be enough. That therefore, yazavish, a man can leave, etc., etc. Mitam from the aforementioned idea. What is he bringing to bear here that's novel? What is he saying different? I just think he's restating everything together, and he's just reading it into the pasuk slightly differently. O Yomar Bisum Lev. When you focus and pay attention, okay, this is interesting. So the Gemara Nida says that there are three shutafim to a person. There are three partners that go into the creation of every human being. Yeah. There's the mother, the father, and God. Yeah. Right? The father donates the white, the mother donates the red, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu donates the nefesh. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, so check this out. איזה הדרך היה מקום לומר שלא יעזוב אב ואמא? אך הוא בהזכיר מאמרם ז"ל, שאב ואם עושים הגוף, והקדוש ברוך הוא נותן הנפש, ובשום לב על אמרו לבשר בלמד, ואמר, הן זאת שלוקחה מאדם תדבק בו. Okay, so now that formula is a little different here with the creation of man, right? There's no mother and there's no father. And with the creation of Chava, right? So how could you, what's the difference, right? How could you say, because of the situation that Adam and Chava went through, that demands a certain reality for somebody in a completely different situation, right? So let us mention, B'haskir Ma'amram Zal, the words of our sages in Nida, She'av va'em, a father and a mother, osim haguf. Together they collaborate to produce a body. V'akadosh Baruch Hu, and the Holy One, blessed be He, noten ha-nefesh. He grants the animating nefesh, the life force. Ubesum leiv al amro lebasar belamed. If you note, the pasuk says v'hayu libasar echad, and there will be two one flesh. It could have just said v'hayu basar echad. What's that lamed doing there? V'amar hein zot shelukcha me'adam. Yes, it's meaning this one that was removed from Adam. Tidbak bo. She should cleave to him. Ach yeter anashim. But the rest of humanity shelukcha me'av ve'em, that come from a father and a mother, al derech zeh yoter yidbeku bam mi be'isha zara lo. You would think from the fact that a man comes from two parents, his flesh is produced, his body is produced from them, it would be harder for him to cleave to a woman than to his own parents. Meaning, what makes Isha able to cleave to Adam? The fact that she comes from his flesh. Right. And all subsequent humans, they come from their parents. Right. So how am I going to be able to leave my parents and cleave to my wife? Right? L'zeh amar nahafochu. Happy part. Ki adrabah, just the opposite. Al kain, therefore, yazav isha taviv ve'atimo v'davak b'ishto. No, a guy can leave his parents easily and cleave to his wife. Why? Me'hatam amor. From the aforementioned reason. Why? Because cheshek, desire, comes from the nefesh, right? And since your nefesh in Adam, right, when Chava was nichlal in Adam, the nefesh of your batzug was nichlal in you, the fact that even your body now is so separated from her because it comes from parents, since the cheshek comes from the nefesh, it will not stop. Al kain, because of what Adam went through, even though, right, you're born from father and mother, it'll be possible for you to leave the bodies that you came from, that your body was produced from, and still cleave to your wife. It's beautiful. He's showing how you would think, because of what, if you're telling me that the operative element that was the event that unified man and woman is the fact that they were removed from the same flesh, then how could it be that somebody whose flesh is produced from parents, as if he was removed from his parents' flesh, that he should be able to leave his parents and cleave to a wife who comes from another place entirely?
I understand the question, I didn't get the answer.
The answer is that's the point of the pasuk. The point of the pasuk is saying that even though you come from parents, it's still possible for you to leave your parents and cleave to your wife because of what Adam Rishon went through with Chava. Why? Because that was on the level of nefesh. Only your body comes from your parents. The nefesh comes from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Here, I'm going to read it inside. I'm just giving you a sneak peek. Okay, na'afuchu, it's the opposite. Ki adarabah, just conversely, just the opposite. Al kain, therefore, yazav isha tavavit imo. a man will leave his father and mother, v'davak bishto, and he will be successful to cleave to his wife, mehatama amor, from the aforementioned reason, v'haraya, and the proof is, ki halo bihidavek bishto. Is it not true that in the act of cleaving to one's wife, eino kidei la'asot ben shnehem nefesh, ki im la'asot basar echad. The verse does not say that the reason why they get together is to produce a baby. Pasuk doesn't say that. It says to make one flesh. What does that mean? That one flesh is what the Gemara Nida says that they contribute to make the guf. Right? So what happens? What are they coming to do? The father and mother are coming to make basar echad. Ki hu v'ishto osim haguf v'akadosh baruch hu noten haneshama. Right? You have the parents collaborate to produce a baby, a body, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu grants the neshama. Ki l'shlosha shutfim b'adam, right? There are three partners. V'im kein, therefore, echad ben hayolod mehem yitbak b'hem. How could it be that a child born from parents would want to cleave to them? Shehem av v'imo, they're his father and mother, v'lo b'vatzugo, and not with his mate. Sheyesh la bo kirvat nefesh. It's rather to his mate that he has a desire for his nefesh to come close. Asher hayu yachad ba'adam, because they both resided together on the level of nefesh when Chava was nichlal in Adam. Terem halikach Chava mimeno. Before Chava was extracted from him, kamdubar, like has been explained. So we said before in the last piece that where does the chesha come from? It comes from the nefesh, right? Meaning the fact that you don't share a guf, all subsequent generations after Adam and Chava do not share, they were not, the feminine aspect of them was not extracted from their guf. So how can we expect to have the same level of unity that Adam and Chava had, right? So the pasuk is saying that that's enough, and the fact that they come from, that they're born now from parents, that's only their guf, and that's not enough for them to want to cleave back to their father and mother. And mitzad their nefesh, they're still going to be v'davak v'ishto v'hayu lebasar echad. Okay? Questions?
So basically, in summary, it's saying that the power of the connection for the two souls to come together is greater than the power of the desire not to leave your bodily connection with your parents.
Certainly. That's certainly what we're saying. Yes. Yeah. I think we can explore it a little bit further, but how are we doing?
4 minutes.
Okay, so let's just do the last paragraph. Okay, look, on the bottom line, however you want to cut it, the point here is that whatever happened on the level of Adam Chava was paradigmatic enough so that in subsequent generations, when the situation is different, it doesn't preclude benefit, meaning whatever happened by Adam and Chava, that's enough. That created a reality for subsequent generations, even if the very conditions of you coming into existence are different. And the fact that Adam and Chava were created and formed a certain way is what makes a bond even for subsequent generations that don't experience that. That's the point, right? Whether you learn it's because since Chava's latent nefesh from Alma Denukva was in the tzela, and therefore in all the neshamas of Zachar were in Adam, and all the neshamas of, so therefore your batzug was nechlal in you then. So therefore the fact that you have so that's
at a nefesh level.
Meaning that's always that was a one-time event for everybody. So therefore it's not a contradiction in the verse when you say this time only and al kain Yaazov, meaning he's explaining beautifully how on the face of it what looks like to be contradictory is not a problem. Okay, right. Last paragraph. Oh dear Mustam. And further, maybe it'll give it's hinting to a reason. El mashaish yeot yechazer achar isha. Why is it proper specifically for a man to seek out his mate and not vice versa? Right? We said before that he should seek her out. Hu machzer al avedato. Right? Right. That's the Medrash Rabbah. Right. Okay. So why is it proper?
She's the one that has
why is it proper for you?
She's the one that needs to do the returning.
Well, no, we're just opposite. You got to look for her. Why? Why is it shehaish that regarding the man yeot it is proper yechazer achar isha? He has to search. He has to follow the trail. He's got to hunt her down. V'lo yitapech lachazer hachelek achar kol, and it shouldn't be reversed. Chas v'shalom, that a chelek, a piece of something, a detail of something, should seek out the whole.
Oh, I see.
Right? Meaning, who lost who? Right? V'zeu al-kain, that's what the al-kain means. It means, shemeish lukacha, she was extracted from him. Avedasohi, he lost her. V'yelech v'yachaser v'davak. So he has to seek her out, okay, and then cleave her. He's got to reinsert her into the proper ma'aracha, right? K'mosha haita kvar ishto, like as if she was previously his wife. V'ibed ota, and he lost her, right? It's some sort of romantic journey, seeking out some sort of adventure to restore that which was lost. But we have another reason why she's called his object, meaning that which a piece of him that was lost. That regarding what the Gemara in Sota calls zivug rishon, meaning your primary shidduch that they make for you upstairs. The Amru, the Chazal say that 40 days before the conception of a fetus, bat ploni leploni, this is actually a different lashon. It says the daughter of so and so to so and so, shehu ikar, and that's primary, meaning that was the primary connection. They were already upstairs. They were connected. V'ibda, and he lost her. Achar hivaldo, after he was born into the world. U'mechazer achareh, and he seeks her out.
So just finally. We can understand that he has to seek her because he's the subject. He's the predominant. He's the subject, and she's the object. And then he has to find the seeker has to find his lost object. That's beautiful. But if you look at it from the point of view that she was removed from him, isn't there a chiyuv for her to?
She didn't do anything. She was totally passive. We actually addressed this. We said normally what happens. The first time we mentioned this, we said that the derech shel olam, that ish chozer achrei avodaso, right, avedato, v'lo avedato chozer. That's the lashon of the medrash. But we said the reason why we mentioned, so we said, but over here it says vayiviyaha.
Yes.
So we noted that really the way the world works, Adam Rishon should have gone looking for a mate.
Right.
But since HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that removed him, it was on HaKadosh Baruch Hu to represent her, to present it back to her. So, and that's why in this case it was different.
Does that have implications for the rest of humanity?
No.
Really?
In fact, he mentioned that it was a one-time thing. Yeah, just the opposite. In fact, yeah. The question really, the deep question is why? Why? Why is it like that? And what does that tell you about the Rebbeinu Shalom and his creation? Maybe another time. Yes. Baruch Hashem,
Thank you so much.